What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Charles Oliveira saying he'll go blow for blow against Justin Gaethje. Is Charles Oliveira hinting at what his game plan is going to be in his lightweight title defense against Justin Gaethje at UFC 274 next weekend? The Brazilian is a BJJ master and has the most submission victories in UFC history to prove it, with 15. His last one being against Dustin Poirier this past December in his first successful defense of his title. But the highlight reel is a stand-up wizard and loves to stand and bang, despite also having a high grappling pedigree. Don't forget, Gaethje is a former NCAA Division I wrestler. Still, while many believe that Oliveira wants to take the fight to the ground on account of his dangerous submission game, he himself wants to show what he can do on the feet. Case in point, in the recent video posted by Brazilian MMA Legends, a Portuguese language MMA channel on YouTube, this is what Oliveira stated. "In all the times I fought, I've never despaired of taking someone on the ground. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm a complete fighter. The fight will start standing. I'll exchange blows with the guy. When there's an opportunity to take it to the ground, I will try to take it to the ground. When there's an opportunity to stand on the grid and wrestle, I'll wrestle with him. I train wrestling too. I'm not a fool. I'm not." Oliveira has been able to showcase his vastly improved striking game, which allowed him to win the title against Michael Chandler via second round TKO in May of last year. He also stood toe-to-toe with Poirier before he won that bout. What do you think about Oliveira saying he wants to go blow for blow against Gaethje in their UFC 274 main event? And who do you think walks away with the 155-pound strap after this bout? Kamaru Usman blasts boxing lowlife for destroying the sport. The head of Showtime Sports is throwing a lot of shade towards MMA fighters and directly to Kamaru Usman. For the past few months, Usman has been campaigning to set up a boxing match against champion Canelo Alvarez. And then the latest wrinkle in this saga, some more trash talk is being sent back and forth, but this time, not just Canelo and Usman. Let's pick up right where we left off yesterday, as Canelo Alvarez told Kamaru Usman on Twitter that he'd be open to fight him, but just not yet. "You calling me out, right? You want the payday, right? So you know where, but sit down, it's not your turn yet. I have a legacy to make." Then Usman responded to this by saying, "Enough said. You don't want that smoke in a real fight. I hear you. Good luck, champ." Then, out of nowhere, the executive of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza, made a comment comparing MMA fighters to boxers and stated this: "LOL, UFC fighters want that boxing paycheck, but don't understand that boxers have the autonomy to choose opponents. It's not about wanting smoke. It's about professional self-determination, a foreign concept to those who let the kickboxing instructor choose their fights." Usman then took the opportunity to respond to Espinoza directly, and he didn't hold back. Boxing is a beautiful art with some amazing athletes and even a couple of good promoters. The problem is lowlives like you that are around the sport that has destroyed it for everyone. Take notes from what Dana has done. Usman then continued by saying this: "Our fans know who the best is because the best fight the best. They don't run and hide and fight nobodies with those plastic belts and call themselves super champion. Keep quiet next time. And if you need lessons on how to save that dying sport, let me know. I've got Dana on speed dial." Now, a little background on Espinoza. He took over Showtime Sports in 2011 and has made the sweet science of boxing a focal point for them. He got into a heated exchange with UFC President Dana White on social media a couple years ago over claims that the UFC would hold fight purses and any and all payments if anything negative was said about the UFC's COVID protocols back in 2020, a claim which White vehemently disputed and called Espinoza a creepy little goofball lawyer. Still, what do you make of this whole exchange between Usman and Espinoza? This month, Raid is celebrating its 3-year anniversary, and it's gonna be huge. Raid's kicking off things with free gifts for everyone, then adding in a bunch of new content and events. We're talking new champions, new artifact sets, and a fully personalized video showcasing every player's Raid journey and their own personal achievements. If that's not enough, they've got a full month of special events and tournaments. Here's our top 3 scariest champions on Raid. First is Claude Beastfeeder, who is a one-eyed ogre. Next is Little Miss Annie, who is meant to freak you out. And finally, War Mother, who is something out of your nightmares. This is the best time to get started in Raid. And if you're not playing Raid yet, hit my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen. You'll get a special huge B-Day package worth $40. We're talking 3 free champions at once, plus 10 Magic XP brews, 10 Force XP brews, and 10 Spirit brews. And since it's Raid's birthday, the gifts keep coming. All this treasure will be waiting for you here All new and existing players can get a bunch of free birthday gifts worth over $25. Once you're in-game after clicking on the links, just enter promo code 3YearsRaid to get your hands on everything. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. The featherweight champ, Alexander Volkanovski, questions Conor McGregor's fame despite controversies. Conor McGregor has been in some pretty noteworthy controversies over the years, from punching old men in bars to sexual assault allegations, breaking a fan's phone, allegedly attacking nightclub DJs, and of course, the bus attack. But despite all of those things, McGregor remains the biggest draw in MMA, and there are some circles that say he could seriously jump the line in the welterweight or lightweight divisions to potentially fight the champion. While the UFC has yet to confirm who McGregor would fight whenever he does return to the octagon, one man who doesn't know why he continues to get more money and become a bigger star is UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. The great has been running through the featherweight division since he's arrived in the UFC back in 2016. It's the same division in which McGregor was once a champion. And while it's safe to say that McGregor is likely not going to go back to the 145-pound division anytime soon, Volkanovski has been open in the past to fighting Conor if the Irishman ever does want to get back down and make the weight. But with as much controversy that McGregor has been a part of in recent years, he's still the biggest draw, and Volkanovski is like, what's up with that? Case in point, this is what he stated in a recent interview on the Jason Ellis show.
I don't know, man. Maybe it is that money. I couldn't tell you, but he's done some crazy things. But yeah, that was one thing that, well, it surprises me how many things like he could do, and you're like, oh shit, is this the one that does him? Where people like that, but the next minute he's probably getting more zeros on his next fight. You know what I mean?
Do you agree with Volkanovski, who insinuates that people seem to love controversy and the bad boys, and this is why he seemingly gets more money? Or do you feel McGregor is simply just great entertainment? Let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on all of the latest fight news. Michael Chandler outlines how he can beat Tony Ferguson. May 7th is when Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler will collide in a massive lightweight battle that will feature two men who have been at the top of the heap in the 155-pound division for several years. Chandler, a three-time former Bellator lightweight champion, and Ferguson, who went on a 12-fight winning streak from 2013 to 2020 and earned the interim UFC lightweight title, is sure to be a war from bell to bell. Both men are known for very specific styles of fighting. Chandler is much more pressured-oriented and has a strong ground game with incredible athleticism and cardio. Ferguson has outstanding movement and wrestling, and his unpredictability and endurance are simply amazing. While this fight isn't exactly a number one contenders battle, it could have big implications for the winner. Ferguson is riding a 3-fight losing streak, although it's all to the champion in Charles Oliveira, the number one contender Justin Gaethje, and a possible next contender in Beneil Dariush. So he's faced a murderer's row of killers. Chandler, meanwhile, lost 2 straight, but he also lost to the champion in Oliveira and also to the number one contender in Gaethje. On paper, this looks like an incredibly even fight, and it might actually go the distance. Chandler is leaving nothing to chance and says that while he wants to get a finish, he knows he has to be smart in fighting against Ferguson, simply because he's not easy to put away and will be ready to go the distance in this one. Case in point, this is what he said in a recent interview about it on the DC and RC show on ESPN.
I think I just got to go out there, put together a game plan, bite down on my mouthpiece, put pressure on him like I always do, manage the distance, be fast, be strong, be athletic, and let my training take over, go out there, listen to my coaching staff. And I believe I go out there and I will be looking for a finish, but I will not be over exerting myself to get the finish.
Both fighters are in desperate need of a win, and to do so on the same UFC 274 card as the Oliveira-Gaethje lightweight title fight will be great for their careers. Who you got in this one? And do you think this fight will go the distance? Rumors are swirling that the UFC is looking to set up a fight between former interim heavyweight champion Ciryl Gane against Tai Tuivasa as the headline for the UFC Paris card on September 3rd. What do you think about this fight? And who do you think would win this bout? Let us know in the comments. Dominick Cruz calls Henry Cejudo fat and lazy, doesn't believe he can step back against elite competition. Henry Cejudo last fought professionally in May of 2022 when he TKO'd Dominick Cruz to defend his UFC bantamweight title. Days later, he officially vacated the belt, and while he had already vacated the flyweight title a few months before, Cejudo decided to hang up the gloves and retire from mixed martial arts. But since then, he's been constantly poking fun at fighters, especially the champions of both divisions, along with the featherweight division, teasing that he's gonna come back and win it all again. While that remains to be seen, he did state that he would re-enter the USADA testing pool and plans to, or has already spoken to, the UFC about returning back to the octagon. One man who does not believe Cejudo can simply get back into fighting the top of the heap is Dominick Cruz himself. The former champion stated that Cejudo has had no pressure to compete. His mindset is not where it needs to be to face elite competition. Cruz also stated that he believes Cejudo got fat and lazy in retirement, and other than coaching and podcasting, there isn't much he's doing. Case in point, this is what Cruz said in a recent interview with Helen Yee.
If you leave and you retire, you're relieving yourself of pressure. You're not in a competitive mindset. You don't get to jump right back into the top. You get to jump to the back of the line. So if he does make it through the next 6 months, testing clean, Henry Cejudo, I would love to be the first person that he faces to end up back in the division.
Do you want to see a rematch between Cejudo and Cruz? And do you think this time around, the result will be different? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts on what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.